much to the dedication, perseverance, and just the plain, hard work of Fritz and Marianne during those early years. It was my good fortune when I came to this area to benefit as a musician from their labors. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, just as we're setting up for this Bach Mass extravaganza, I wanted to thank my cousin Danny for suggesting the Goltermann, because when I was thinking of what to play for 8 cellists, I came up originally with the Bach G major prelude. And he said, no, Jimmy, no, that's going to sound messy. How about the Goltermann? Do you know the Goltermann? And I said, no, I don't know this piece. So he sent me the link to it on YouTube. I listened to it and fell in love with it. Gorgeous piece. I wish it had been longer. Anyway, thank you, Donnie, over there. You'll see him conducting.
everyone. My name is Lillian Burwasser, and it's my pleasure to be here today to celebrate the lives of Fritz and Marianne Wallenberg. My connection with the Wallenbergs began when my husband accepted a position with GAF, formerly ANSCO, in 1966, and we moved from New Jersey to Vestal. We socialized with a number of GAFers where the Wallenbergs were often present. It was there that I discovered that Fritz had the most wonderful dry sense of humor and was a clever punster. Fritz had begun several smaller musical ensembles that ultimately merged or evolved into the Binghamton Symphony and Choral Society. I was asked to become personnel manager of the Binghamton Symphony in the late 60s until 1974, when GAF transferred my husband back to New Jersey. I have many memories of my association with these two extraordinary people and their orchestra. For example, at one rehearsal these many years ago, I was told by a member of the orchestra that it was Fritz's birthday. Unaware of his reluctance to celebrate his birthday, I asked the orchestra to play Happy Birthday when Fritz arrived. Fritz appeared, play they did, and if looks could kill, I would have been dead. When Title III federal funds became available, it enabled the orchestra to bring many world-renowned soloists to Binghamton, such as Eileen Farrell, Michael Ponti, Garrick Olson, and Leonard Rose. One of my favorite memories is of a dinner shared with Fritz and Marianne, myself and my husband Herman, and Leonard Rose, one of the great cellists of all time, and a delightful human being. After a concert, orchestra personnel, friends, and if available, soloists were graciously welcomed at the Wallenberg home for refreshments and friendly chatter. One memorable artist who joined the gathering was Peter Schickele, better known as PDQ Bach, who had made his grand entrance at the concert that night at the Harper College gym by swinging across the gym on a rope and landing center stage. I hope many of you have heard or seen some of his brilliant musical antics. I remember our bringing the Binghamton Symphonette into many of the outlying community schools to play for the students, many of whom had never heard nor seen a classical musical ensemble before. At these presentations, Haydn's Farewell Symphony was always a big hit. I was so happy to share in the joy when Marianne, at 95, became a grandmother. Jimmy and Jacqueline produced beautiful twins. Even into her 90s, Marianne traveled into Manhattan, staying at Kathy and David's apartment. I met with Marianne in Manhattan for the last time when she was 96. Jimmy and family were in from Toronto, and I had a wonderful surprise visit with the whole family. What a long and fruitful life Fritz and Marianne had, and what beautiful music they brought into our lives. Thank you.
Betty's and my acquaintance and friendship with Fritz and Marianne extended almost 60 years. 60 years from my enjoyment playing under Fritz's baton in the Jewish Community Center Orchestra in 1954, 60 years to my phone call to the nurse's desk last October to ask if I could deliver some Lebkuchen cookies that Betty had made for Marianne. They were a favorite of hers, and the nurse gave me the sad news. The Jewish Community Center Orchestra preceded the founding of the Binghamton Symphony Orchestra. My memory of specific dates is not clear, but I remember a meeting of Fritz, Marianne, professor and cellist Ken Lindsay, the lawyer and violinist Morris Gitlitz, and myself, a meeting which I believe could be called the beginning of the new, the new orchestra. Fritz and Marianne were an effective team in organizing the new ensemble, and Morris Gitlitz was a valuable contact with the business community. Morris chose to stay in the background, but his activities were important throughout the life of the new ensemble. I was named the first president, but all I did was chair the meetings of the board of directors, play the flute in the ensemble for about 10 years, and write brief program notes for the concerts. Betty joined me in the flute section for 2 concerts and sang in the orchestra, in the chorus for another concert. Fritz's programming for the symphony was ambitious and well thought out. I appreciated the opportunity to play not only so many works in the standard repertoire, but also to the fact that he never repeated a work. Thanks to his and Marianne's contact in the concert world, we accompanied well-known concerto soloists. For me, as a flutist, perhaps the most significant repertoire were the performances with the Binghamton Choral Society of great Bach choral works, such as the St. Matthew Passion and several famous cantatas. These works include wonderful flute and voice duets, which were challenging and rewarding for me. One great concert was the performance of the Berlioz Requiem, a gigantic composition for several ensembles positioned in different locations in the concert hall. I was out of the country and regretted missing the opportunity to be part of that performance. Fritz, in a note to me after the concert, made the amusing comment that during the performance he had wished he had been on a Lazy Susan platform as he cued these various groups. Fritz engaged the composer, conductor, humorist Peter Schickele for a concert of works by P.D.Q. Bach. Fritz called me one day and said he knew of C.P.E. Bach, J.C. Bach, and other members of the famous clan, but he couldn't find a reference to P.D.Q. Bach. I said, Fritz, when my grandfather would ask me to do something, he often said, do it P.D.Q. pretty darn quick. After a moment of silence, I enjoyed his chuckle at learning this English idiom and its relation to the amusing concert by the chorus and orchestra. Our son Thomas studied cello with Fritz. Our daughters Nancy and Sally studied violin with Marianne. She was a wonderful teacher, both demanding and inspiring. One year, Marianne and I swapped lessons. I taught Kathy Wallenberg flute on the first floor of their house, and Marianne taught Sally on the second floor. It was a nice arrangement. Betty and I have many wonderful memories during our long friendship, especially in the last years when we joined Marianne at Binghamton Philharmonic concert or enjoyed a visit with her, Jim and Jackie, and the beautiful grandchildren visiting from Toronto. Today's memorable occasion, so beautifully organized by Kathy and Jimmy, attests to the indebtedness of the Triple Cities musical community, and indeed the entire community, to Fritz and Marianne. Thank you.